And maybe part of the reason why I was doing that is because I was already using it as a stem at best. And I loved to organize. It was really a top interest for me, to the point where, yeah, if you want me to do your laundry and the baby's laundry and whatever else is laundry, I can do that. I can take those clean clothes and I can fold them up and they can be lined up perfectly, and I can put them away, and I can reorganize your drawers in your closet slowly but surely, hanging things up and putting them where they're supposed to be. And I can just kind of explode my need for organization and order all over your entire universe, because who's going to stop me? Because again, a cleaning female is a happy female. Not a happy female, well, they would say that. The women are so much happier when they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And that's true, but that means what you're supposed to be doing, not what somebody else has decided you're supposed to be doing. Maybe I'm not supposed to be cleaning at all. The mere fact that I had that and it suits the stereotype. What I was trying to say is, everybody looked at it and they're like, well, I'm pleased. The girl is doing what the girl is supposed to do. This is how we raise them. This is what we want them to be. This is all we want them to be. So if I was doing it, and I was doing it like crazy at a really young age, when I'm 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, and I'm literally, early on in my life, I literally asked repeatedly, I almost begged to be able to do the dishes, because it looked so interesting to me. It looked like it was so much fun. And it also, frankly, was probably a particularly delightful stem. I do things in a certain way. Dishes could be gross, but the way I approach things, I'm making sure that I'm not making anything really gross. And because I'm cleaning, it just makes sense to me that it's easier to clean something if you are using a clean environment. So I've always had a particular approach to keep things to where it's not disgusting or distasteful, and it was actually fulfilling to me. And I love water, so then I kind of got to play in a tub of water in the sink, 1 or 2 tubs of water. It was kind of awesome. I love water just in all of its iterations. I love the power of it. I love that you can honestly, and this is part of the way that I clean, because I also have that ADHD thing where I'm like, there's got to be a more efficient way. There's got to be a quicker way. There's got to be a way where I do less work and it's still getting done. So kind of like my autistic capacity to launch into that task and decide, hey, I'm going to clean all this stuff up. And then my ADHD capacity that's like, hey, the way you're doing it, I mean, you're cleaning it, but it seems like it's taking your entire life away, and I don't want to waste my entire life. So one of the things I love about water, I figured out very early in life, it'll clean for you. You can fill something up and the water will, like, oh, let's say a casserole dish that someone made macaroni and cheese in, and that's famously something that's hard to clean off. But I learned very early in life, if you put that water in, and I was, it was like, oh, you need to put in water and dish soap. So I thought that it was really the soap getting in there. But at some point in life, I realized it's actually not the soap. It's cleaning the same way. Excuse me. It's cleaning the same way without soap. It's really the water doing it. So water is powerful in such a way that when it is moving, it's making a difference, like wearing down rocks and mountainsides. But when it's still, it's also making a huge difference, because I will just fill something up to this day with pure water and let it clean that thing for me. I have a way of doing it. Again, it's that efficiency mindset. So I will stack things. If there is a sink full of dishes, I will stack them in such a way that I'm using the least water necessary. Then I can go around and do everything else, like cooking, getting my food together, other cleaning, whatever else I need to do, or just walking away and living my life. And when I come back, I know it has soaked and it'll be super easy to clean. Everything just comes right off. That's just the way I do it. I tend to blast things absolutely immediately, like take something out of the fridge, finish the food, move all the food out. I'll instantly go hit that with a sprayer, because it's going to basically immediately clean it before it has even one instance to start drying and making a mess, especially with stuff like macaroni and cheese style stuff that makes a mess. The fact that I had an approach that made things easier for me and everybody else, frankly, that was always a boon to everything. I definitely have had people who were complaining, oh, you're soaking stuff in the sink. But it's a little weird because those were also people who took it upon themselves to teach me the values of soaking. It's just that they liked it when they did it and they didn't like it when I did it. You know how that works. They like soaking, they like teaching, they like thinking they're smarter than you, but in that moment they don't want you to soak it because they just want to see you standing there scrubbing to death, wasting your life away. I don't do that. I just soak. So I do have an approach to things, and it does make a huge difference in how I do it, and I do not choose to spend my entire life washing things. Excuse me, it's not, okay, I'm gonna have to take a break because my throat is having whatever dryness or what have you. But it's not as if I'm spending my entire life doing it. I just don't personally have that particular call on me to sort of, I don't even know how to say it. I've known somebody who kind of comes unhinged on that entire situation. And it just seems as if it's really taking over their life, and they're very miserable with the outcome and the amount of work that they put into it. But it's also somebody who is neurodivergent, and they have that sort of autistic need to go at it and get it done. So it's very possible that the way their brain is made, they just kind of have to go get it done right now when I want it done, and it's bothering them to the point where they just can't leave it alone. They can't let it soak. They can't do anything else. Because you know when something is bugging you like that, you just need it over with. But I don't have that particular inclination. So I can do things in an easier way. And I'm just thinking about how, as much as it's been a point of contention with specific individual or individuals who shall remain nameless, it's ultimately something that everyone has always appreciated. Because even due to that need, honestly, I am making your life easier because of the way that I approach the dishes. So I'm kind of pre-cleaning for you. And as somebody who has walked up to a sink full of dishes where no one will rinse, and where people don't know the difference between rinsing and soaking, and there is a difference. Rinsing is what you do to basically pre-clean something, and soaking is for what really, it's kind of like replacing that endless elbow grease of having to actively scrub it. Because I don't know, it seems like nobody else has thought of this, but I have noticed, especially because I was taught really to do things in an extremely work overload way, I would stand there scrubbing pots and pans and stuff, and I realized pretty quickly, especially it was a situation where it's like the cheese and it's burnt on, it got brown in the oven. So it is not just coming off easily. It was never coming off. If it were coming off, it would have come off when it was a freshly baked food and people were scooping to get dinner. It never came off. But I noticed while I was doing what I was taught, which is scrubbing forever and standing there for 20 minutes working on a dish, that it wasn't actually me cleaning it. I was scrubbing it, but what was happening is that the water would wet the top layer and moisten it. And once that water had had an opportunity to soak through that top layer of cheese and moisten it, was I able to wipe that off with my scrubbing. And so I realized, okay, I scrubbed that layer off, and what's underneath is still dry and baked on, but my scrubbing is still getting more water on there, and it's not coming off. The next layer is not coming off until that water has had a chance to soak through and soften it so it'll come off. So I realized I'm not actually doing anything except wasting my time. If I just fill this thing up with water, it's going to clean itself, and I won't have to scrub it because my scrubbing isn't actually helping. What's helping is the water. So yeah, I have to give myself credit for that at some point in life, because sometimes people love what you're doing and sometimes they hate it. And I had weird situations where people would have personal mental moments, and one moment they'd be praising me. It was extremely confusing. One moment they'd be praising me for doing all the cleaning and everything. Oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And the next moment it would be, oh, well, you're horrible and you're not doing it right and you never help and I always do, blah, 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 you know, all that stuff. It wasn't a stable moment. So that stuff where you go overboard and you make things up, that was constantly flying at me. But in reality, I was always making everyone's life easier, because like I said, if I were cleaning it, boom, it's already cleaned itself. I'm now not wasting my own time. I can live my life with that time. I can take care of me. And more realistically, for most of my life, I can take care of others. Now you're benefiting because I'm smarter than that. And if I walk away because it's important to me to have my food while it's warm and while it's palatable and I can tolerate it, and then you decide that you're going to come and just get down on that sink and rip every dish free from everything that is unclean, you're having an easier time because I soaked it. Because guess what? My autistic and ADHD brain was smart enough in conjunction with itself to figure out what I was doing that was working, what I was doing that wasn't, and to just do it in a better way. I figured out how to get the dishes clean without putting in extra work. And it shouldn't be some amazing invention. Soaking dishes has got to be just about as old as having a dish and being near a body of water. That can't really be new technology. But when you are in a household where things are done in a certain way, it feels like new technology when you're the only one who's actually executing it in any way. So I do things like that. And when people are in a good place or a happy place or a healthier place, then all of a sudden there's a lot of praise for me because of what I'm doing. And it goes back into that situation of deciding that anytime I'm keeping house, I'm pleasing to you. And it wasn't just doing dishes. It was about cooking. It was about the laundry that I mentioned. It was about anything in the world that suited the stereotype of being trained and programmed. You were born as a female, and now we're going to train you to keep house. And as long as you're keeping house and you're being delightful and cutesy and what we consider to be pleasing, then you're okay. And because a huge amount of our getting diagnosed or recognized as neurodivergence is someone else thinking that thing you're doing is not normal or that thing you're doing is not okay. No one did that with me because they saw a female human cleaning and decided that is normal. That's what I want to be normal. That's exactly as it should be. This is a hecka okay. And so I just slid right under the radar. Because quite frankly, no one was even going to want to look at me cleaning everything for everybody from the time that I was a wee thing on out and even to this day, and think, no, something is wrong. Maybe if you were happy right now, you'd be less aggressively stimming at that dish that needs washing. Maybe if you felt safe right now, you wouldn't be choosing to leave your own food off to the side so you could go clean obsessively. Kind of makes me wonder, in this world where there's a grand tradition of other female humans cooking for everybody, creating libations and making sure that there's anything available and everybody has different age appropriate and nutrient appropriate drinks to go along with their meals, and cleaning everything and sorting everything and keeping everything together. But then the family comes and eats and drinks and they live it up. But the woman who made it doesn't, because she's still busy working. Excuse me. Makes me wonder how many of those women are not in fact eating in that moment because something's wrong. And maybe they are not in that moment mentally, physically, spiritually, just holistically okay. Maybe they're putting themselves off because in that moment they don't have a more comfortable option at all. Because sometimes in life, especially with my philosophy and seeing the example of how easy it is for us as women to be trained to destroy ourselves first, to cannibalize our own brains, as I heard someone else, another autistic content creator, say on YouTube, and I don't know who this was. It was another brown female autistic content creator, and they were talking about being employed, and everybody loved everything they were doing, but it actually just led to them having to do too much. It's like, we appreciate you, now give us more. And so they said, in that moment, I chose to stop cannibalizing my own brain. I wish I could find that content creator. Many years ago, it was one of the first people I heard who was actually autistic talking on the subject matter, and I haven't been able to find it since. And that was an impression I would really like to be able to continue to hear more of what they had to say. But I do think that that term properly describes what some of us are going through, because sometimes the process of consuming your own energy in order to pump out results for everyone else makes you literally too tired to eat. So now you can't even fulfill your own need to get your own energy back because you just need to stop. Or maybe you don't even want what you made, especially after you've had to cook it. Sometimes by the time you're done, you're like, this doesn't even look good to me anymore. There's so many different issues. And then it makes me wonder, out of those people who are having that experience, how many of them are neurodivergent? And part of the reason why they can't take care of themselves after taking care of everybody else is because the process of taking care of everybody else did, in fact, cannibalize their own brain, their own energy. And there's just nothing left to do anything else with. But on that subject, before I get into 50 more videos, I'm going to close it. If you have something to say or add, or you've had similar experiences, you just want to get in on it, leave a comment. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the things. Thank you. Thank you for existing. Thank you for listening. That's about it. I forgot how I say it. I was going to say have a nice day. I've done this before. I say this because it's a harvest moon thing to my remembrance. I kind of remember the harvest goddess on the TV being, that's about it, bye now. You'd be trying to talk to her, and then all of a sudden you get the screen that's like, that's about it, bye now, and she's gone. And you can't get her back a good amount of the time. I was like, what just happened? I got sideswiped, so I guess I'm trying to just disappear without giving you everything you need. But hopefully, I'm trying to disappear after giving you what you need. But it just kind of became a part of my own vocabulary, and now that's what I keep saying. It's like an Easter egg to the Harvest Moon games. Friends of Mineral Town, or more Mineral Town, back in the day, pre-inception of Stardew Valley. But anyway, now that I've remembered, that's about it. Bye now.